and a super good Friday morning to each and every single one of you. As you can see, I'm not out on the bike today. I'm out on the trails, and there's something else that's changed about my looks as well. Let me know down in the comments if you think that my change in hairstyle is an improvement or not. I know for sure that in terms of surviving the August summer heat, it feels a massive improvement. But whether that transposes over to the looks department is another matter altogether, and I'll leave that in your capable hands. Anyway, one reason why I'm not out on the bike today is giving my cycling legs a little bit of a rest ahead of a fairly hard day going out riding with a couple of friends tomorrow, who will all ride slightly faster than I do. So from that perspective, resting the cycling legs today is not that bad of an idea. And the second reason why I'm not out on the bike this morning is that I'm expecting a call and visit from Matt to come and check out my laptop to make sure that we order the correct replacement keyboard so that that can be fixed up ahead of my trip to Madrid next month. And for that to happen, I can't be too far from home, otherwise I won't be able to get back in time for his visit. Luckily, even though I'm out on the trails this morning, right now as the crow flies, I'm no more than about a mile from home. So even if he phones right now, I'll be able to get there within about, well, the way the trail goes now, and I'll be able to swing on. I would be able to swing onto a road. I'll be able to get there between 10 and 15 minutes, which isn't that much, as opposed to being out on the bike and saying to him, well, I'm about 25 miles from home at the moment, so, and there's a big mountain pass in the way, so you need to give me 2 hours to get there. Whereas in this situation, I'll be able to say to him, I'm out on a trail run, but don't worry, I can be there in 15 minutes. Because it normally takes him about 10 minutes to walk from his place to mine. So that puts hardly either of us out in terms of our scheduling. Anyway, so that's why the number 2 reason why I'm out on the trails. Plus, it makes a nice bit of variation. What do you think? Anyway, I should be wrapping up this trail run so that I can get back home. And because one thing that I haven't done yet is I haven't put together today's list of tasks that need to be done, that need to be wrapped up. And anyway, and I need to get ahead of schedule as far as all of those tasks are concerned, because there's a potential for a little bit of an outing over the weekend that comes after I finish the epic bike ride. But more on that potentially tomorrow. Just a relatively quick update. The time is coming up for around about 1:30 in the afternoon, and yes, I've got a tick list. And we need to talk about my tick list just a little bit. Today's tick list had in total 15 items on it, and what I can tell you is 6 of those 15 have been crossed off the list already. Now, here's something else that I've learned from neuroscientist Andrew Huberman. I've been listening to a lot of his podcasts lately and trying to incorporate some of them, and part of my tick list over here is the lesson that I've got for each and every single one of you. Is just something quickly that you know how if you get sucked into social media way too much, there's a tendency that you will be pulled along, because each and every single little bit of feedback you do from a short little tiny post that you post on social media gives you a little bit of a dopamine hit. Well, guess what? If you break up your big tasks into tiny little goals, short little goals that each goal is, say, about 15-20 minutes, you can hit that one. 15-20 minutes, you can hit the next one. 15-20 minutes, you can hit the next one. Each one of those tiny goals, as insignificant as it may seem in the greater scheme of things, each little goal gives you the same type of dopamine hit that you would tend to get from social media. So which means that by, especially in the top half of your tick list, have a whole lot of little goals that take a relatively small amount of your energy and a relatively small amount of your time to be able to complete, and you knock those off at the start of your day, at the start of your work day. What happens is each one of those that you knock off gives you that little bit of dopamine hit. That small dopamine hit boosts your energy levels that little bit more, boosts your motivation levels that little bit more. And so what happens is you use the motivation and energy from those little dopamine hits from hitting those tiny little goals to springboard you into the next one. You hit that one, dopamine hit comes along, you springboard into the next one, and then into the next one, and then into the next one. So that by the time you get to the more difficult tasks that you're needing to complete, you've built up momentum. You've built up this momentum of the dopamine hits that you've gotten so far, and which means that you've now got way enough energy and motivation to tackle that more difficult task. So when it comes to writing blog posts, especially lots of you that are just starting out in the blogging journey, for instance, if you are looking at a 1,500 word blog post as this massive task set out ahead of you, use my methodology there. What happens is I look at this massive task of a 1,500 word blog post, obviously with voice typing, as you've seen, that I can get through it relatively quickly. But one goal that I have for this blog post that I want to do is just do the layout. Get my 6 subheadings with one line of information, memory jogger under each subheading. That's a task. Now that's a task that can be wrapped up really. If you've got your topic that you're wanting to do, you should be able to do a layout, what your subheadings are. You should be able to do that in about a 15-20 minute period. Once you've got your subheadings and everything in place, now what happens is, say you've got six subheadings that make up your blog post. Take the first subheading. That's a goal. Underneath that first subheading, you're only needing to write 150 to 200 words. That's a goal. Complete that, you get a dopamine hit. Go into the next subheading that you've got. That's a separate goal on your tick list altogether. Complete the 150 to 200 words that you need to write on that second subheading. Bang, you've got another dopamine hit, which means that by the time you've gone through each of your 6 subheadings that make up your blog post, you've picked up 6 dopamine hits, 6 motivation boosters, 6 mental energy boosters. And then what you can do is take all of this energy that you've got, this mental energy, this motivation, and use that to do the more difficult, what I certainly find to be the more difficult task of writing a blog post, is the careful wordsmithing of that answer target and the intro paragraph that leads into the answer target. I find that to be the most difficult, mentally challenging part of writing a blog post. But if I do that once I've done all my 6 subheadings and gotten the mental boost from the dopamine hits that I've gotten from hitting 6 different goals already, then I find that last part, that slightly more mentally taxing part of the blog post, being the intro and the answer target, I find that I've got the energy to be able to tackle that because of the goals that I've hit along the way. Anyway, that's my rant about mental energy and the human system as far as dopamine hits and setting small, achievable tasks. For instance, one of my tasks that I set for today was doing 10 comments on YouTube videos, because lots of you, thank you so very, very much, have put comments on my YouTube videos, and you would have noticed that from during the course of today, during the course of this morning, I've answered a whole lot of your comments. So that was one of the tasks that I had on my list, relatively quick to get through, and I could do that while sipping my first cup of coffee in the morning. Anyway, next up I've got 4 blog posts on my agenda that I'm needing to tackle, and those are each one of those from this overall checklist. They're 4 blog posts, but what I'm going to be doing is I'm going to be taking another smaller card, and then on that I'm going to be noting down the subheadings for each one of those blog posts, so that as I finish the subheading, so I'll be able to cross that off on that specific card. Anyway, I better get stuck in and also get some calories into my system. Hey there, the time it's just coming up for 7 o'clock in the evening at the moment. A couple of changes to my evening's plans as far as this evening is concerned. I've got a message from my cycling friends about tomorrow's ride, and it's not going to be nearly as epic distance-wise or anything like that's concerned, so which means that obviously the calorie burn rate of tomorrow's ride will be quite a bit lower than what I was expecting. So what I'm going to be doing this evening to make up for the relative lack of calorie burn for what I was expecting tomorrow's ride to come out at around about 2,500 calories, between 2,000 and 2,500 calories, and in the end I'm guessing tomorrow's ride will probably come out at about around about 1,000 to 1,200 calories. So I'm going to be heading out this evening and doing another 1,000-ish type calorie bike ride, just to make sure that I'm maintaining my calorie burn that I've got planned out for the week, maintain that all the way through. My checklist, there were 14 items on the list. There are now 3 items left on the list, so that's going relatively well. I can't give you the exact number, but I'm pretty sure it's somewhere around about 2,600 words worth of content that's been produced so far today. So I'm going to be changing clothes, going out, smashing the calorie burn as far as getting this extra ride in this evening over and above the run that I did this morning, just to make sure that I've got my calorie burn up at where it needs to be for Proyecto Flaco. And when I come back, I want to smash out the last of these. Anyway, that's where I am at the moment. I hope you enjoyed the little bit of a rant that I gave you earlier regarding Andrew Huberman's take on micro goals. I've been doing that throughout today, and I found that it's helped me immensely. It's kept my motivation pumping all the way through with no flag dip down happening along the way. And that's what I'm going to be doing this evening when I get back from the bike ride, so that I can finish off these last couple of things. One of which is something that I have been neglecting for quite a while. I've been talking about using voice typing on Google Documents, and I have yet to put Google Documents on this phone that I'm busy recording on right at the moment, and it's something that for my potential trip where I won't have Wi-Fi access, my potential trip tomorrow where I won't have Wi-Fi access for a good number of hours, something that I need to work on this evening is getting Google Documents set up on the phone so that I can still voice type my Google Documents using the phone when I won't be able to connect my laptop to Wi-Fi for a good few hours. Anyway, that's part of my evening plans, and I hope you're having a thoroughly brilliant Friday and smashing out all of your content goals. Let me know how you're progressing down below as well. But before it gets too late and I start getting the sun setting on me, by the way, heat-wise, it's apparently still 34 degrees out there, so it's going to be a hot bike ride this afternoon. Anyway, let me get changed, get the ride done, because the faster I get the ride done, the faster I'm back and the faster I'm smashing out the content. Hey, and a super good evening to you. It's getting rather late. It's already gone midnight, and I'm not in bed yet, but I need to be getting into bed as soon as I possibly can. So that's exactly what I'm going to be doing right now. But just to give you a quick update, I'm half and half in the back of my mind, changing my plans as far as the potential trip through to Grenada is concerned, because there's just too much this weekend that I need to take care of. I just remembered that I've got about a week or so before Phil is due out here again, and I need to do a thorough once over clean up of the apartment so that everything is absolutely spick and span and ready for him. So from that point of view, that's what I'm going to be needing to take care of, and then probably grab a couple of longish bike rides as well, just to make sure that I keep the calorie burn Proyecto Flaco. I'm just wondering how many of you have managed to work out what the translation is, the English translation of Proyecto Flaco, but I'll just keep that as a mystery in the meantime. But you're welcome to put the translation, if you know what it is, in the comment section down below. Word count, 2,602 words, and the target for today was about 1,300. Obviously, with hitting targets so often, the new targets are coming down and down, but 1,300 was the target, 2,600 was what was written, so everything is steaming along happily there. But anyway, I will be chatting to you tomorrow, maybe somewhere along the line, along the route of the bike ride tomorrow morning. I'll see how things go. Heading out with my friends Michael and Julie through to Casita Papel to introduce them to the Giant Coffees. And by the way, you're able to watch me on YouTube at the moment thanks to this phone, which came from Michael. So I'll chat to you a little bit more about that tomorrow. Maybe with them being there, maybe with separate from them. I'm not too sure right at this moment, but either which way, up early tomorrow morning, because Michael and Julie will be downstairs ready to be heading off on our bike ride together at 8:30 in the morning, and it's already gone midnight. I think it's heading actually more towards 1 o'clock in the morning, so I'd better get a superbly good night's sleep. With that said, have yourselves a good night, and I'll chat to you again tomorrow. Good night.